Hey there, this is Kevin here from MaximizingEcommerce.com. I help people build e-commerce businesses that they can be proud of. So if you're a maximizer or you're thinking about becoming a maximizer, and I just mean someone who is building a business that they can be proud of on the side, and maybe they have a full-time job or something else going on in their lives, something that they're currently busy in. Because if you're busy, guess what? I can relate to that. I'm busy in my life. I know everyone around me is busy. We're all busy, 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 busy. And I get the question quite a bit. Is it possible to really build something off to the side if you have a 9-to-5 job or a 5 to 9 job or whatever kind of job you have, or if you have a family? So I've got all the above there. I've got a wife and 2 kids. I've got a full-time job. So let's take a step back here. Now, if you want to find the time to grow a business, something you can be proud of, you got to really put things in perspective of you only have so much time. So one thing we all have is 168 hours in a week. So think about your 168 hours. Right off the top, let's say 6 to 8 hours a day, you're going to be sleeping. So you just lost those hours. As much as there was one time a quote I heard from Arnold Schwarzenegger where he said, just sleep faster, as if that's something you could actually do. I wish, but we're going to lose time to sleep, and then we're going to lose time to our job. So if you have a job or some other commitment, you're going to have to focus your time on that because that's important. And then let's say you also have a family. You know what? You don't want to miss out on the time that you have with your family. So now all of a sudden, what was 168 hours a week is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and you've got a finite amount of time. So now what we have to do is take an inventory of that time. Where are you spreading, if I could talk, where are you spending your time? Because when I say spending, we really are spending it, because it's almost like you have a bank. It's like almost like, you know, you're thinking about your paycheck. You're going to have your rent, you're going to have all these other things, and you got a finite amount of money for fun or whatever the case is. So with time, you got so much time, and that's one thing we all have the same amount. So when you really start taking in, you know, how much you're sleeping, how much you're working, how much you're spending with your friends and family, whatever the case is, now we got a finite amount of time. So take an inventory of what is it you're using during that small finite amount of time, because yes, you have other things that are important to you. Those are critical. So when you're building a business on the side, you got to figure out what is it I can do to free up time during this window, because all that other stuff can't fall by the wayside. You can't suddenly start working on your business while you're at your job, or you're going to get in trouble. You want to focus on that time that you have. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the computer there. You want to really focus That's the word I'm looking for. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Very intentionally about that time you have. So let's start thinking about that. Where do we spend our time? So challenge yourself. There's something I heard today that the average American spends 4 hours on their smartphone a day. So if you have a smartphone, challenge yourself. How much time are you spending on that? And that could be watching videos, maybe something that, you know, is beneficial, like, you know, watching, you know, this channel or a similar channel, or listening to podcasts. That's one thing, but also don't let consuming content get in the way of executing, because you're going to learn so much more by getting out there and doing. And anyone who's gotten anywhere with a side business, full-time business, built a big business, it wasn't they were just spending time learning. Learning is important, but they were also executing and implementing. So think about where you're spending that time. You know, do you have favorite TV shows? Do you have favorite news programs? Whatever. And start thinking about that. Like, not to say you have to give everything up that you're interested in, you know, if you're watching sports, but like, you know, if you have your favorite team in baseball season, this is April as I record this, and baseball season, you know, is just getting underway. Do you need to watch every single game? You know, there's 162 games in a, you know, American Major League Baseball team's schedule. You don't need to watch all those games. So maybe you only watch some games if that's what's important to you, because every little bit that we say, okay, I'm going to say yes to this, we're saying no to something else. And sometimes we're saying yes to binging and Netflix and not spending time maybe growing our business that we can be proud of. Because what ends up happening is, and I fall in this trap myself sometimes, where I say, okay, I got time. And because I think like, oh, okay, well, I want to get X done by Y date. So I want to find a new product and launch it by the end of June. I'm just making this up here. And well, I got plenty of time. Well, then, what I really have to do is take a step back and say, what are those steps that I have to do to accomplish that task on the back end? And what I found is, if I start taking those little steps along the way, now all of a sudden it's these bite-sized chunks that are easier to consume, so to speak, and easier to implement. Because it can be very easy to lull myself to sleep anyway, of, okay, I've got plenty of time to get to there, but then that's really just procrastinating. And anytime we want to do something different, something that we've not done before, something we're not 100% comfortable with, what happens? We start getting this like anxiety, this pit in the stomach of like, ooh, yeah, I can't do that. That's too much. But guess what? I've found everyone has that happen. We've all had it happen where you can probably relate to, if you're watching this and you have a job, what happens the first day when you go to a job? You're excited, but there's almost this little bit of nervousness a lot of times. I think you know what I'm talking about. Or when you go to apply for a job, like, ooh, are they going to like me or whatever, and you go in for the interview, or you go to put in your application, or you send in your resume, or whatever the case is, sometimes it's like all of a sudden we're taken out of our comfort zone. So the thing of it is, a business like what I've got here is very easy to put off to the side. It's very easy for, oh, I'll get to that. So we got to challenge ourselves to get to it now. And that doesn't mean have to eat the whole elephant, so to speak. We can take bits and pieces of it as we go, so that we can digest it in small chunks, because over time, all the little things we do are going to build up to a massive amount of work. So even if you challenge yourself to, I've only got 15 minutes to a half hour a day, that's great. If you're able to somehow build 15 minutes to a half hour a day, let's just talk about a couple of stages you might be in your business. So if you, let's say, are at a point where, maybe you've launched a product or two and you're looking at, growing into another marketplace. I bet if you really take a look at that, that window of time you have in a week, all of a sudden you're going to find, like, if you really get intentional and say, is there something I can replace? Even if it's for a short surge, you know what? I'm not going to watch Shark Tank for a little while. I'm going to just focus in, really hone in on getting launched in Canada, or launching another product, or getting a couple variations of a certain product to have. Or if you haven't gotten launched yet, maybe it's, going out and identifying a product to sell. If you're concerned that you don't have the funds to get started with that, maybe you do a little retail arbitrage. Maybe you actually find a part-time job on top of your full-time job so that you can start putting that money away, or you work overtime in your full-time job. There's all kinds of things you can do, but the key is just being intentional about what is your goal that you want to achieve, let's say in a year to 3 years from now, and then what is something you can do in the next month, the next 60 days, the next 90 days. What is that, chunk of time, something that you can actually digest, and then start putting that in smaller pieces along the way. And I'm pretty sure that's going to help you, because that's definitely helped me when I start putting things in perspective in that time period. So hopefully you found this video to be helpful. And if you did, I would absolutely love it if you click the little thumbs up icon. If you've not gotten to a point where you've launched yet and you need a little guidance, down below in the description, I've got a link I've got a free resource guide to help you get your first sale on Amazon, basically following the step-by-steps methods that I did to get up and launched, to get started in my e-commerce journey. I'm still learning in my e-commerce journey, but my goal here is to help you in yours. So if you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, and thank you for making it all the way to the end. And I'm going to wish you the best as you take care and work in your e-commerce journey. Thanks. Bye-bye.